My boss keeps saying he loves me, and he only does it to me, but I'm afraid that if I ask him to stop, it'll tank my reputation with him, and I don't want that. I have a strong working relationship with my boss, the owner of the company I work at. We clicked instantly in my initial interview, get along well, and he is consistently impressed by my work. Most importantly, I think he values me because I'm not afraid of difficult conversations, and I'm the only person in company leadership willing to tell him when I disagree with him or when I think he's making a mistake. As one of the few women in leadership in a very male-dominated industry, I'm used to weirdness in my relationships with male bosses. Typically, they will take credit for my work or publicly treat me like a secretary or assistant while privately relying on me to do the majority of their role. My current boss has never done anything like this, although he often seeks my advice. It's probably one of the healthier and more functional working relationships I've ever had with a manager. But I do have one odd problem. Sometimes I will initiate a conversation with my boss that is difficult or fraught, stuff like one of the other senior managers interfering in a project and refusing to let go, or explaining that my boss made a decision that has negatively impacted the company and needs a different resolution. These conversations usually go well, although he is always saddened to hear he's done something that people found frustrating or hurtful, and he definitely does not enjoy giving his senior leadership negative feedback. And if any of these situations affect me, it impacts him even more because of how much he values me. I'm good at keeping these conversations productive and professional, but at the end of really difficult ones, he has a habit of telling me he loves me as part of saying goodbye. We all work remotely, and these meetings are virtual. I am not someone who uses the L word liberally. I say it to my close family members and 2 or 3 close friends. I do not think my boss is attracted to me or means it in even a slightly romantic way when he tells me he loves me. Instead, I think he feels emotionally vulnerable. I get the sense I might be the only person in his whole career who's been comfortable giving him direct and constructive critical feedback, and he's seeking validation that our relationship is still strong in spite of the difficult conversation. As such, if I were to say that's weird or please stop telling me you love me in the moment, I'm concerned it would negatively impact our relationship and cause him to feel even more vulnerable and sad. But if I bring it up out of the blue, it feels like making a weirdly big deal out of something that could conceivably be a slip of the tongue, 3 or 4 times now. Should I just let this weird quirk go? What do I say in return? He's never pressed the issue. So far he's always said something like have a great afternoon. Love you. And I've just ignored the second part and gone with a cheerful but awkward feeling you too. It's definitely strange, right? Update. As many of the commenters guessed, my boss does come from a place where I love you or love you is a common way to end a conversation, although he doesn't seem to do it with anyone else. He's pretty much stopped, presumably due to me giving a weird look every time he said it. Our working relationship continues to be strong. He promoted me to the senior leadership team and I continue to be able to bring up challenging topics with him that others couldn't. He does suffer a bit from lack of boundaries. Just recently he mentioned to me that he had a prostate exam, but it was fine to tell me because they do blood tests now, not the finger up the butt. Well, they still stick the finger up the butt later, but that's after the blood test I think. They just don't open with the finger in the butt anymore, but that's just who he is. And frankly, it's refreshing to work for a boss whose finger up the butt stories are medical. That's progress for my industry. Still don't love him, but I like him just fine.